Hi guys, this is Neba Wanibumju and you are welcome to Learning with Richie. So on this channel we talk about immigration issues such as how to look for employment opportunities abroad. We also talk about how to look for educational opportunities, and I share with you my lifestyle as an international student in Canada and everything that concerns immigration as far as North America is concerned. So in today's video, I will be giving a piece of advice to international students who are kind of like couple who are coming to Canada or to new immigrants in Canada. So the video today will be talking about how to access daycare or making preparations for, before having kids in Canada. So I will share like my personal experience when we first when we first came to Canada back in 2018. At the time, like I did not really kind of like understand how the system like functions. So we kind of like we were looking forward to having a baby, and now when we got our baby, kind of like that's when COVID-19 also hit. So we were just like following the doctor's prescription. It was really difficult. Like there was even no family member here to kind of like tell us maybe what we're supposed to do. So when our when our son was kind of like 6 months, we're now like so I had to like focus on my school and my wife had to work. So we're looking for childcare. We're looking for a way maybe to kind of like have a place where we could keep him, so we could go, like my wife could go about work and I could go about my studies. And it was a very big challenge. So the information I'm passing out here is like, if you're coming into Canada as an international student and you are planning on making a family, it's very important for you to understand some of these things. Like childcare, it's a very difficult one to get in Canada, in New Brunswick precisely. So when we started kind of like when we went out scouting for the daycares where we could have our son enroll, most of the opportunities that we saw, some of them were telling us like he could have a spot, he could have a spot in 3 years time. He could have a spot, like the closest one we had was in a year and a half time. So imagine something like you, myself and my wife were already in that situation where like she needed to work for us to be able to finance our bills here, and I needed to concentrate on my studies. So it was really difficult at the time too with the COVID-19 and places were blocked. So we could not kind of like get family members over to give us a hand with like raising or taking care of our son. So it became a big challenge. When we contacted these agencies or when we contacted the various daycares, like they were giving us like a wait time. We had to like apply, maybe like pay a registration fee, kind of like maybe $50 or so, and we have to be on the waiting list for maybe like a year and stuff like that. Some daycares don't even take children who are less than a year old. So it was really a big challenge. So that kind of like made us like it taught us a lesson, and this is the lesson that I'm trying to share with you guys who are coming into Canada. If you're an international student and maybe you're kind of like married or you're planning on getting married and you want to have children in Canada, yes, like Canada does support children, like they kind of like provide financial support for childcare benefits. But again, you are supposed to also make plans on how you're going to like deal with your child. Either you're deciding, or maybe like one person stays home with the child to take care of the child, or you make preparations for that child daycare maybe in advance. So maybe when your wife is planning to conceive, maybe just contact a daycare and just tell them like, okay, maybe you want to book a spot, or you want to book a spot maybe for this child maybe in the next 1 year, knowing that you book that spot, and then maybe your wife will go through the period of pregnancy until she has a child, and then by the time she's having the child, maybe by that time there will be kind of like an opening in the daycare where the child can go to. Another situation is you might decide to maybe like to invite a family member over, like maybe your mother or your father, like just depending on whoever. Like you can invite kind of like one of your parents to come over to assist you with child care. So that's another option that you might go to. But for us, it was very difficult since at the time there was like international borders were kind of like blocked and family members could not travel. So we had to like deal with the situation just like two of us. And again, when it comes to daycare in Canada, it is not cheap. So like an average day in Canada, like you spend maybe kind of like almost $45 to keep your child in a daycare, and that means kind of like that will sum up to averagely about maybe $800 or $900 a month in for daycare. And now like also the minimum wage here is now it's 11 point something dollar, and maybe we'll be like moving up to 13 point something by sometime next year. So if you kind of like doing a minimum wage paying job, and you have maybe you're doing a minimum wage paying job, and you have to keep your child in the daycare, you kind of like see that that is totally like it's something that's not going to work for you. So in that situation, my advice would be like maybe you guys just decide, and maybe one person stays home and take care of the child while the other person works. And now again, as international students, there's also support for like there's also support for childcare depending on your income. So if you kind of like working, you'll be able like to declare the amount of income that you have, and the government will subsidize. So if you can leverage on the subsidies that the government provide, that would be great. But sometimes also there are certain conditions on the subsidies that is given by the government. Sometimes maybe they will need you to maybe to have been a resident for a certain period of time. Maybe they'll want you to become maybe like a permanent resident and stuff like that. So you have to read very well, like you have to understand what are the intricacies around you getting that government subsidies in terms of like in terms of providing child support or child care. And then like for me, the advice I'll just give, like the best way to do it is either one person stays home to take care of the child while the other person work, or you kind of like bring over maybe like, and it's this one is very easy for us to maybe like to apply for our parents or for the children's grandparents to come over and provide them with like care. So that can be a reason maybe that you're applying for the visa maybe for your mom or your dad, or like kind of one of your child's grandparents to come over to provide care. So that's just a piece of advice I'm giving to if you're a new immigrant and you're planning on having a family in Canada, or if you're kind of like an international student and you're kind of like also planning to have a child. Those are some of the things that you have to consider before you get into the process of like bringing forth that child. If not, you have a child and maybe like you will have issues with kind of like dealing with your normal life activities and also dealing with that child. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you are new to this channel, please click the notification button, share this video with other people that you think maybe it might be helpful to them. And if you have maybe like you have other ideas on how to deal with like or how to prepare to have a child in Canada as an immigrant or as an international student, please, I would like to hear your thoughts. So share your thoughts or your comments in the comment section. And if you maybe like if you have another way of addressing the situation, I would also like to hear from you. That said, guys, stay focused, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you.